always struck me is this really is panto for grown-ups.
It was a phenomenon.
It is both racist and it is also very patronizing.
The Black and White Minstrels, tomorrow at 10:05 on BBC4.
What if you cared more about your country than your own life? Loved your leader more than your own family? And dedicated your life to proving it? What if everyone you knew felt exactly the same way? Discover what the mass games mean to the people of North Korea. A State of Mind, Monday at 9 on BBC4.
Sunny periods this morning giving way to cloudy conditions this afternoon. Rather cold, with frost in some places tonight, giving icy patches on roads. Winds between north and northeast. Now an item of local news. In Bristol, the all-night vigil was maintained outside Horfield Prison, where Russell Pascoe is due to be hanged. Pascoe's wife and mother visited him last night. This morning, the crowd increased outside the prison gates to stage a final silent protest.
On BBC4, Robin Ray in the chair for a 1965 edition of Call My Bluff.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to BBC2's game of words and wit, Call My Bluff. First, I'm delighted to introduce, on my right, his team to you, Alan Melville.
Good evening. Well, we've had 2 draws, so we only need 6 more to get the coupon up. I have got 2 guests of mine from in or around Brighton, 2 very good friends of mine. On my left, à gauche, someone who has been absent from TV for far, far too long. We welcome back Elizabeth Allen. À droite, author, very brilliant public speaker, brilliant novelist, journalist, and of course one of the salts of the earth, Godfrey Wynne.
Thank you. And as usual, of course, on my left, Frank Muir.
Who've I got? Me. I don't know really why one introduces them, I suppose for the benefit of people who can't afford Radio Times. But I'm absolutely delighted to welcome on my right to a rare return visit to this programme and a rare return visit to this country, the uniquest Hermione Gingo. And on my left, I'm just as delighted to see, what is he, pathologist, producer, critic, writer, actor, comedian, and Christopher Robin at the moment. Thank you very much. I said Christopher Robin because you're spending all day with Alice, aren't you?
Yes, right.
It's Jonathan Miller.
Thank you. Well, as Alan Melville said, everything so far is level pegging, so we can expect it to be fairly hotly contested tonight. I'll give you the rules in a moment. Meanwhile, word number 1. And word number 1 for Alan Melville's team is Morlop, M-O-R-L-O-P. Morlop. Alan Melville, will you and your team open folder marked number 1, please? These folders, of course, contain either a definition of the word, at least one of them does, the other 2 contain nothing. It's up to the panel to think up a couple of bluff definitions, and it's up to Frank Muir in this case to spot which is the correct one. for him and his team. All right, Morlop, M-O-R-L-O-P. From the Oxford English Dictionary, what does it mean, Alan Melville?
Well, you know those Valkyrie that went that ride? Well, there were three girls, Brunhilde, Brickhilde, Hildebeg, or something like that. Anyway, but it's generally assumed that Valkyries have got to be ladies. They usually are in opera, but in actual mythology, they can be men. There are male Valkyries, and a Morlop is in fact a male Valkyrie. It's a kind of, he's a dear, friendly soul. He's a kind of sort of mythological hovercraft. He hovers over these characters like Wotan and co. when they're engaged in battle. And he eventually hopes to see them, not actually to Valhalla, but to an adjacent stop on the same line. Morlop, a sort of male Valkyrie, as far as I'm prepared to go.
Thank you. Elizabeth Allen.
Well, no, it's nothing like that at all. A Morlop. If you go into the Middle East and go into a rather large Moorish village or town and to visit a very rich Moorish gentleman, they are very jealous Moors. They're very proud and handsome people. But in their houses, they always have a separate room for their men friends to come. They don't want their wives to see them. And so Morlop, it's quite simple. I mean, there you see them all the time. It's an annex in a large Moorish house where the gentleman can wait without the wives of the house seeing them. And that is a Morlop.
Jolly good.
Thank you. Thank you. Godfrey Wynne, Morlop.
Well, don't take any notice, my two dear friends from Brighton. Very ingenious, but I know the answer to this one because it happens the other day. I saw a very nice friend of mine who comes from Australia, and I said to her, "What a pretty necklace you're wearing." She said, "Oh, it's made of Morlops." I said, "Made of Morlops? What is it?" "Oh," she said, "it's a semi-precious stone. It's found on the beaches of New South Wales. We in Australia give it a lot for silver wedding anniversaries, or if a girl comes of age, she says to her dad, 'Could I have a necklace, Dad, of Morlops?' Or one of those plaques like Gingold is wearing on her bosom. That could be made of Morlops. And beachcombers. It is, no, because Morlops are yellow. And beachcombers in New South Wales, when they don't think they're going to eat for a week or so, they go on the beaches and they look for these pebbles, which are called Morlops."
Oh, do shut up.
All right. Thank you very much. Well,
I've been very deceived.
Well, those are the three definitions Frank Muir's team has to face. A benevolent war spirit, a Moorish waiting room, or a jasper pebble, a Morlop. And to decide which is the correct definition for your team, Frank Muir.
We think Alan is having a bit of a go over his male Valkyrie, hoping that we shall confuse Morlop with Warlock. So we dismiss that.
That's what you were trying to do.
Yeah. And Elizabeth Allen's this sort of convenience for gentlemen just inside the front door. Don't think that's true, even in the East. So we're driven back to Godfrey's old bean, his lady semi-precious stone. We think it's picked up on Bondi Beach.
Godfrey Wynne's definition that a Morlop is a jasper pebble. Godfrey Wynne, bluff or true? May we see your card, please?
I'm afraid it's true.
Well done. Well done. Very good start for Frank Muir's team. A Morlop is, in fact, as Godfrey Wynne told you, a jasper pebble. Bad luck, Alan Melville. 1 point to Frank Muir. Nothing yet for Alan Melville. And we move on to word number 2. And word number 2 is strumple. Frank Muir's word, S-T-R-U-M-P-L-E. Open your folders, please. Strumple. S-T-R-U-M-P-L-E. I forgot my little bell the first time to warn everyone their time was up. I will use it now. Strumple. That's very definite. First definition, please, Frank Muir.
A strumple, quite obviously, is a hotchpotch. Or if you prefer, a hodgepodge. It's a kind of mess, a mélange, a mix-up, a sort of word that could be applied to a television program, but normally it's applied to food. It's the sort of thing that you used to have, or a whole mess all over a plate. It's the old version of what we now call hors d'oeuvre. Strumple.
Thank you. Hermione Gingold.
A strumple is the small working part in the back end of a horse. Well, well, let me explain. I mean,
You're not saying.
it is the small fleshy part of the tail, where the spine tapers off, you know, don't you?
Well, I've been round there,
And, you know, the tail proper begins.
Oh, yeah.
When a horse swishes its tail, la, 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 to get rid of the flies or something, most of the work is done by the strumple. Right?
Right.
Good.
Check.
Thank you. With some relief, Jonathan Miller.
I wouldn't say mine was obviously the case, but it is the case, certainly, that strumples are concerned with the construction of bricks. When you're firing bricks, as one is, what's involved is firing the brick, you see, and sometimes the firing process only goes halfway, in which case you present this half-fired brick, and you're told, go and complete the firing, and the half-fired brick is your strumple.
Thank you very much. A mixture of foods, a horse's tail muscle, or a half-fired brick. For your team, Alan Melville, what is a strumple?
Well, we're firing that brick right away, I think. That could get fired out. We're a bit worried about this ho-po, or hodgepodge. It's only out of loyalty and love for a very, very dear friend of mine who's kept me for many, many years that we are going to plump for that extraordinary part of the horse's rear.
From Hermione Gingold, a horse's tail muscle, bluff or true, a strumple. May
Well,
we
I
see the
wouldn't mention a horse's rear unless I had to.
Score is 1 point all, and we come to word number 3. And word number 3 is Leicester, L-E-I-G-H-S-T-E-R. Alan Melville, your team's word, Leicester, L-E-I-G-H-S-T-E-R. Open your folders, please. First definition, please. Elizabeth Allen.
It's, oh yes, it's a very easy thing. If you know your Greek mythology, which I'm very fluent in, of course,
Yeah.
it comes in about females who never can stop fibbing. It's a female fibber. And it should be, I mean, it says, if you sort of pronounce it differently, lie sister, you see. So it's simple as that. It's a lie sister.
Okay, thank you. Godfrey Wynne.
Well, I unfortunately have to tell you that you're wrong, Liz, because you see, last week I went to my fishmonger to get some Morecambe shrimps, and he said, I'm so sorry, even if Gingo's coming back to England, I haven't any left for you to give her for lunch. I know it's her favourite dish, but I've got something which is just as good as Lichter. I said, what's that? She said, it's Morecambe sprats. It's as good as the sprats which are caught in the channel, though it's a bit darker, scalier. But Morecambe sprats are called Lichter, and I've had some last week by one of those coincidences which happened.
Thank you. Alan Melville.
Well, I'm going to be completely frank about this, which is always a pretty horrifying prospect. A Lister is quite simply a person who lives in Lee, L-E-I-G-H, or certainly used to live in Lee in around the first half of the 17th century, around 1648 or around about there, time of the Civil War. This is the Lee in Worcestershire, and it was all, I think it was all rather bound up in Civil War affairs, and Leicester, it was a very loyal town, Leicester became known almost the equivalent of a royalist, an inhabitant of Lee.
Right, thank you. Well, Leicester, or Lister, whichever it may be, they say that it's a lady liar, it's a sprat, or it's a resident of Lee. Well, now, for Frank Muir's team, would you like to make the choice, Hermione Gingold?
No, I wouldn't, but I will. We think that it must be the gentleman who resided in Lee.
Just like that.
And he was called a Leicester, because it seems an obvious thing for him to be called.
What
like
else?
a Londoner is a Londoner.
What else could you call him?
You couldn't call him anything else but Alfred.
The Greek thing doesn't sound likely, because it's an Anglo-Saxon root, that, rather than a
But you
Greek
have
root.
made up your mind, have you?
Oh, yes.
Have we made up
that
our
was
mind?
the
we have made up our
Yes,
mind.
but we're just flooding you with reasons. And,
Well, I think it is obvious. It's the same as an inhabitant of Ham is a hamster.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a duck.
Well done. Leicester, or Lister, whatever it may be, is not a resident of Lee. Who gave us the correct definition and scored a point? Well done, Elizabeth Allen. A Leicester or Leicester is a lady liar.
Anglo-Saxon word.
Female
Sorry about
fibber.
that. Well, keep my mouth shut, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Any more of your Anglo-Saxon words, thank you very much.
Well, whatever the word is, the score is 2 to Alan Melville and 1 to Frank Muir, but it may be lucky for Frank Muir because it's his turn this week with the object. If you'll excuse me, I'll just fork it up. Here it is, Frank Muir's object. The difference between this and the words, of course, is that it's an object, A, and B, they have all seen it, they all know what it is, and they have had a chance to prepare 3 different definitions of its use. Thank you very much. All right, there it is. You've had a good chance to look at it. First definition of this object's use, please, from Hermione Gingold.
It's a piece. It's a piece. It's a piece of Victorian office equipment. That's what it is. It's the, it's rather fun. It's the ancestor.
Leave it Strumple alone.
It can become a habit. It's the ancestor of the stapler. The stapler, or bogger. It did. It works differently. It forces together. It forces together 2 halves of a lead disc, which performs exactly the same function.
This, quite obviously, is, without this, if you were 40 years younger, and you opened a bottle of ginger pop, it would go snap, crackle, but it wouldn't pop. Because this device is a device for ginger pop bottle screw top washer insertion. It also can be used on light ale bottles, brown ale bottles, or it could, at a pinch, be a cider screw top washer inserter. The screw top was placed on the top, and that inserted the airtight washer, thus putting the pop where it belongs, in the bottle.
Sure. Well, as you said, at a pinch, and this is the operative word here, until the 19th century, the making of sausages was held up by the fact that no one could close the ends, with the result that the meat was running out at both ends. All that you had was limp skin and mash on each side of the plate, you see. Now, in the 19th century, what they devised was a machine of this sort, with sensitive tendrils of this sort, which gathered the skin together at either end of the sausage, nipping it into a neat little bundle. It's for a large sausage, mind you. The small sausages, of course, tend to contract around themselves anyway. But the larger sausage is kept closed at this end by inserting the skin round here, winding it, and then slowly drawing it down like this.
Thank you. So they say it's a Victorian paper binder, or it's a ginger pop bottle screw top washer fitter, or a sausage pincher. Elizabeth Allen.
Me?
Yes.
Go on,
No.
dear. Oh, obvious. Obvious.
It can't be anything with
Sticks out of
sausages.
my- oh,
no,
they
not
didn't-
possibly.
They didn't have them. in
And I don't think they had bottle tops of that kind in those days. I wouldn't say it would take an awful long time. Each bottle separately. Oh, no. No, I think it's Victorian office equipment.
The definition given by Hermione
By-
Gingold,
yes.
a Victoria paper binder. Will the person who gave us the correct definition please hold up the object?
Up to date.
We are indebted to the Reading Museum for supplying us with the object. It gives us a score of 2-all, so we're still very close, and we now move on to our next word. And here is our next word, Chesham, C-H-E-S-S-O-M. Alan Melville, your word. Open the folders, please, you and your team. Chesham, C-H-E-S-S-O-M. First definition of Chesham. Now from Godfrey Wynne, please.
Well, I know what Chesham is because when I was struggling to get into university a long time ago, I had to write a long treatise on Jewish religious law. And I found that the word Chesham, which has come back to me, I think it's pronounced Chesham rather than Chesham, is actually a kind of unleavened bread, which is used at the ceremony of the Passover, and it's used at the ceremony of the Passover to prove that some of the firstborn of the Israelites got free and were not slaughtered by the Egyptians.
I don't know about Frank Muir's team, but you scared the living daylights out of me. Alan Melville.
No, I have to disagree, Godfrey.
Oh, that
I know a bank where, nothing to do with Wild Time, but a bank here in London, no names naturally, where certainly the male staff wear Cheshams. Because the staff, the male staff, I have to impress on you, the male staff still in this bank wear frock coats. And the Chesham is the pocket concealed in the tail of a frock coat. It's an old tailoring expression. I would have thought you three well-dressed characters would have known this. It was named after Mr. Chesham, who had a very high-class tailoring establishment in German Street or somewhere, if one may mention the name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Allen.
Well, I must say, you're most extraordinary, you two boys. Because it's Chesham, really. It's a word meaning friable, not F-R-Y, well, like sausages and eggs and bacon. It's F-R-I-A-B-L-E. And that means it's something that is very, slips through your fingers, very like talcum powder, or when you're doing very, very fine pastry. That's Chesham.
Money.
Now, if salt gets damp and sticks in your, the salt cell and doesn't come through, oh, that's not Chesham. No, it must be something very, very, oh, it's money. No, it's not, that's not fine. It's very, 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 very fine. Very fine.
Right, thank you very much. A cake of unleavened bread, a tailcoat pocket, or loosely powdered Chesham. Jonathan Miller.
Get off the egg.
Well, yes. Well, it doesn't sound like unleavened bread to me, because from my reading of the thing, that Chesham's pronounced matzah, you see. But this is specialized knowledge from the inside. It sounds to me as if it's much more likely, I think, to be the Jermyn Street variety of thing, the tailor's device, because it just sounds like one of those tailors in Jermyn Street. They have these rather weird, half-amputated names, which look as if they're going to go on and be something else, but stop halfway. Those rather strange tailors' shops which don't advertise their wares in the window. They just have a window and a rose, and nothing else at all, and you're expected to know. It just says Chesham's. And you go into Chesham's and say, I'll have what you're selling, please. And you get a Chesham. And I think that it's undoubtedly a coat.
A tailcoat pocket.
But I'm willing to be proved wrong.
All right, it's with you. It's with you, Alan Melville. Are you going to prove him wrong or not?
Well, I'm afraid, Jonathan, cheerful Charlie Chesham has got you, yes?
Oh, well done. I like the fantasy, but Chesham is not, in fact, a tailcoat pocket. What is it? Who gave us the correct definition? Well done, Liz Allen. Very, very good. Chesham is loosely powdered. The score is 3 to Alan Melville, 2 to Frank Muir, and we come to our next word. Oh, you've got time here. And the word is bullery. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. B-U-L-L-A-R-Y. Frank Muir, it's your word. Will you open the folders for bullery, please? Right. Thank you, Hermione Gingold. First definition.
Oh, me first?
Yes, of course.
It's, a bullery is a collection of papal bulls. It is a pile of edicts. It is possible that His late Majesty Henry VIII, the well-known papal bullfighter, used bulleries as filling for the royal waste paper baskets, and with that I leave you.
Jonathan Miller.
What? For all time, yes.
Well, it's a legal form, in fact. It's rather like larceny. It's an ancient legal form, and it's one of the cardinal sins, in fact, unfortunately. It really involves overpowering desire to possess something which is not yours, and in its name, one will be willing to commit bullery in order to possess the thing. It's rather like larceny in this respect, and other crimes of the same nature, and it's pretty serious, I would say. A pretty grave offence.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel myself absolutely sort of washed clean of it.
Frank Muir.
Bullery is oak, O-A-K.
Thank you very much. Rotter, they all saw me writing then. All right.
Is that all we're getting?
That's all you're getting, oak.
It's a stunted oak, isn't it?
Well, actually, it's an imported oak. It's very hard stuff. It came from Russia, very smooth grain, and was used by the nobility to put wainscoting around their dining rooms and so forth. Very smooth, hard grain.
Right. A lot of papal bulls, covetousness or very smooth oak from Frank Muir. Bullery, Godfrey Wynne.
Just give us 20 minutes. Yes, he doesn't deserve it.
Well, I don't think that brief explanation, Frank, was sufficient. I don't think it's oak. And Gingo, for whom I have a great affection and admiration, she gave too polished a performance. I don't think it's anything to do with Henry VIII or papal bulls or modern bulls or the backs of horses or anything. I think it was Jonathan Miller.
Covetousness, Jonathan Miller, the other side of your card. Well done. Bullery is not covetousness. What is it? Who gave us the right definition?
It's papal bull.
It is, as Hermione Gingo said, papal bulls, bullery.
I don't believe it.
True. 3 all. Very, very exciting. What will happen? What will happen, he said, to the next word.
Yes,
And the next word is Bruke. B-R-U-K-E. And I will take first definition of the word Bruke from Alan Melville.
Well, Bruke is a word like, oh, there's awfully difficult to explain. A young dog is a puppy, isn't it?
Yes.
A young cat is a kitten. A young pig is a piglet. A young liberal is... No, I better not go to that. But a young anything has these special names. Well, a brook is the youngster of a certain species. And as a matter of fact, it was an absolute nuisance in ancient Egypt, because there they had, as you probably know, rather serious plague. In fact, several plagues. 7 in all, in which locusts took a fairly predominating part. And a brook, Hermione dear, I have good news for you. A brook is a young locust, so that Egypt was absolutely overrun by brooks, as well as the Nile. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yes.
Right, Elizabeth Allen, brook.
Well, I was brought up in a farming district, and of course brook is a very, very common word among the old farmers. I don't know if they use it nowadays, but in the old days you would hear one old farmer saying, hey, he's got a nasty brook in his corner field there, you know. And that meant that a lot of the corn was stunted, and they used to have these nasty bare patches in maize or corn or their turnip field, and there was nothing you could do about it. And if you went up and saw it from above, it looked like those little circles, well, rather nasty large ringworm patches among the crops. That's brook.
Thank you.
Babbling brook.
Well, quickly, Godfrey Wynne.
Well, I think Liz's explanation is much the most graphic and realistic, except that mine is better, I hope. It's an onomatopoeic word. Like you say, book, like that. Brook is like that. You get a total hot feeling in your chest, and there's a very medical term, but I had to go and took yes, that's really. No, that's not the medical, that's a simple word. Brook is the onomatopoeic word for it, and that's what it is, brook.
Brook, a young locust, a stunted crop area, or a burning sensation from Godfrey Wynne. Brook, Frank Muir, for your team. You've got to be careful too, you're 3 all.
We've got two draws so far.
2 draws and 3 all,
And
so
now we
watch
lose
it.
this one to encourager les autres. So this brook, this young river, this young locust, no, not on. Godfrey's onomatopoeic hiccup. The hiccup itself is onomatopoeic. It seems unlikely that onomatopoeia should strike twice. So as usual with this programme, we're having trouble with corn again. And we think it's Elizabeth's corn fluke. And it isn't, is it? No!
Well done, Elizabeth Allen. It was, in fact, a bluff, as you can see. Brook is not the stunted corn, or whatever else you may call it. What is brook? Who gave us the right definition? Thank you very much. We now leave our game after 2 draws with a score of 4-3 in Alan Melville's favour. Well done. And from me, Robin Ray, good night. See you next week. Good night.
Stay up a little longer with Tony Bilbao and the thinking man's crumpet, Joan Bakewell. And magnificently, they're joined by Fanny and Johnny Craddock and James Robertson Justice. A vintage edition of Late Night Lineup next.